The night sky burned red above the wasteland. Lightning flashed across the cracked surface of planet Erelon, where dust storms howled like hungry wolves. Through the chaos, a human man named Dr. Aaron Vale struggled to keep his steps steady. His oxygen mask flickered, warning lights blinking red. He was lost, exhausted, and nearly out of air. Aaron had come to Erelon for one reason: to find survivors after the Great Solar War. He was part of the Galactic Relief Team, a group of humans helping rebuild planets destroyed by war, but now his ship had crashed and his radio was dead. He pushed forward through the storm, barely able to see, when a soft cry echoed through the wind. It wasn't the wind. It was a voice. "Help! Please!" Aaron stopped. The voice was weak, almost broken, but full of pain. He followed it, stumbling over the rocks until he saw something that made his heart freeze. There, lying half buried in the sand, was an alien woman. Her skin pale blue, her eyes glowing faintly like dying stars. Her breathing was shallow, and a strange silvery liquid dripped from a wound on her side. She was dying. Aaron knelt beside her, his instincts as a doctor taking over. "Stay with me. You'll be okay," he said, checking her pulse. The alien woman smiled weakly. "Human, you came." Her voice was soft but full of relief, as if she had been waiting for him. "I'm Dr. Vale. What happened to you?" Aaron asked, trying to stop the bleeding with his emergency kit, but she shook her head. "No time. My name is Sira, last of the Veleran tribe. They killed my people. My home, gone." Aaron could hear the desperation in her voice. Velerans were known across the galaxy as peaceful healers, never warriors, but now she was the last one left. "I'll get you to shelter," Aaron said, trying to lift her. She stopped him with a trembling hand. "No, please, listen." Her glowing eyes looked up at him, pleading, filled with tears. "I have children," Aaron froze. "Children? Where?" Her voice cracked. "In the cave, north side of the ridge. They are small, scared. Please, human, promise me, you will take them." Aaron felt his chest tighten. "You want me to adopt them?" Sira nodded slowly, each breath weaker than the last. "Yes, they will not survive alone. Others will come to kill them. Promise me, human, please." The storm howled louder, sand cutting across Aaron's suit like knives. His mind raced. A dying alien woman was asking him, a human stranger, to adopt her alien children. It sounded impossible, dangerous, but in her eyes he saw something pure, a mother's love, and a final wish. Aaron's throat went dry. I promise," he whispered. Sira smiled weakly, a single tear glowing like silver dust. "Thank you." Then her hand fell limp. For a moment, Aaron just sat there, stunned. Around him the storm roared, but he couldn't move. He had seen many people die during the war, but this felt different. This wasn't just a soldier or a stranger. This was a mother dying in front of him, trusting him, a human, with her last breath. He looked down at her lifeless form. "I'll find them," he said quietly. "I'll keep them safe. You have my word." He stood, the storm whipping against him, and looked toward the ridge she had mentioned. The cave wasn't far, but with the storm raging, every step could be his last. As he walked, strange sounds echoed through the wind, distant roars like creatures hunting. Erelon was full of predators after dark, and the storm made them bold. Aaron gripped his plasma torch tighter, pushing forward. After what felt like hours, he found the cave. It was small, hidden under sharp rocks, glowing faintly with blue light. He stepped inside slowly, his heart pounding. Then he heard it, tiny voices crying softly. He turned his light toward the sound, and froze again. There, huddled together in the corner, were two small alien children. Their skin shimmered faintly like their mother's, and their big eyes were filled with fear and confusion. One was holding the other tightly, trembling. When they saw Aaron, they backed away, whispering in a language he didn't understand. Aaron slowly removed his helmet, showing his face. "It's okay," he said softly. "Your mother sent me." The older one, maybe 7 years old, stared at him, then pointed toward the storm outside. "Mother?" he asked weakly. Aaron nodded. "She wanted me to find you. She wanted me to take care of you." The child's eyes filled with tears. The younger one started crying quietly. Aaron's chest ached. He had seen refugees before, but never like this, alone, orphaned, and afraid on a dying world. He took a deep breath. "I'm going to get you out of here." I promised her, but then... The The ground shook, a low growl echoed through the cave. Aaron turned, shining his light toward the entrance, and saw a massive shadow moving outside. Red eyes glowed in the dark, watching them. Something was coming. Aaron reached for his weapon, his heart racing. He whispered to the children, "Stay behind me." Outside, the storm screamed louder, as if the planet itself was warning him. The alien widow's last wish had just become a human's greatest test. The cave trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling as the sound of heavy breathing echoed from outside. Aaron held his plasma torch close, its blue light shaking in his hand. The alien children hid behind him, clinging to each other. Their wide, glowing eyes reflected pure fear. The growl came again, deep, guttural, and close. Something was hunting them, Aaron whispered. "Stay quiet. Don't move." He crouched low, switching off the torch. The cave went dark, the only light coming from the children's faintly glowing skin. Outside, through the storm, a shadow moved, huge, with long claws that scratched the rocks as it passed. Its red eyes scanned the cave entrance. Aaron's breath caught. He'd seen something like this before. A Droxian beast, a scavenger born from war radiation. They hunted by sound and heat. Slowly, Aaron pressed a button on his wrist device, lowering his body temperature reading. He hoped it would make him invisible to the creature's sensors. But the children were trembling, and their soft whimpers echoed through the dark. The beast's head snapped toward the sound. Aaron's heart stopped. He had seconds to act. He whispered, "Stay here," and quietly stood up. The plasma torch flickered to life again, a streak of blue fire in the black cave. He waved it toward the entrance. "Come on, you ugly monster," he muttered. The beast roared, its massive form crashing through the rock. Aaron dove sideways as claws tore through the air where he'd been standing. Sparks flew as the plasma torch hit the ground. The children screamed. Aaron rolled to his feet, grabbed the fallen torch and slashed it upward, the blade of energy slicing into the beast's arm. The creature howled, shaking the entire cave. He yelled to the children, "Run to the back, now." The older one pulled the younger and ran deeper inside the cave. The beast lunged at Aaron again, its jaws dripping acid. Aaron ducked, firing his emergency flare gun straight into its face. The flare exploded, blinding white light filling the cave. The creature screeched in pain and stumbled backward, crashing into the cave wall. Rocks rained down, sealing part of the entrance. Aaron gasped for breath, coughing on dust. His heart thundered. He knew it wasn't dead, just angry. He turned toward the children. "We can't stay here. It'll come back." The older child looked up with tears in his glowing eyes. "You human?" Aaron nodded. "Yes, your mother asked me to protect you." The boy swallowed hard. "You promise?" Aaron put a hand on his shoulder. "I promise." Outside, thunder cracked. The storm was still raging, but if they stayed, the cave would collapse, or the beast would return with others. He checked his map scanner. One signal blinked not far away, his crashed ship. If he could reach it, they might survive. He helped the children wrap themselves in heat shield blankets and stepped back into the storm. The wind hit him like a wall. Every step forward was a battle. Lightning streaked across the red sky, showing strange shapes in the distance. Broken towers, crashed ships, old war machines buried in sand. The smaller child pointed and whispered, "Mother's home." Aaron looked. In the distance, he saw the remains of a Valoran house, carved into stone, half destroyed. His chest tightened. "We'll come back for her," he said softly. Then another roar echoed behind them. The beast had found them again. Aaron turned and saw it charging through the storm, its red eyes burning like fire. He grabbed the children and ran. His boots sank into the soft ground, the air full of static and dust. He could barely see, but he remembered the direction of the ship. Behind them, the beast was faster. It leapt over rocks, crushing them like glass. Aaron pressed a button on his wrist, activating the flare shield from his crashed ship's beacon. A faint blue shimmer appeared ahead, a safety field. "We're almost there," he shouted. The children stumbled, crying, but he pulled them forward. The beast roared again, lunging through the storm, and just as its claws reached for them, they crossed the energy line. A blinding flash burst out. The shield reacted, sending a wave of electricity that threw the beast backward into the sand. It howled in fury, then disappeared into the red mist. Aaron collapsed to his knees, gasping. The children fell beside him, shaking. They were safe. For now. He looked at the small shelter ahead, the wreckage of his ship, its lights flickering weakly. The air system was damaged but still working. He guided the children inside and closed the hatch behind them. The little one clung to his arm, crying softly. Aaron sat down, pulling them close. "You're safe now," he said quietly. "I promised your mother." For a moment, the only sound was the storm outside. Then the older child spoke. Mother said, "Humans were kind." Aaron smiled faintly. She was right. The boy tilted his head. "Are we going to your world?" Aaron hesitated. He looked at the dark sky through the window. His communication system was still broken. Rescue could take days or never come, and Erelon wasn't done with them yet. But he couldn't let fear show. He looked at the two small aliens, orphans of war, and said, "Yes, I'll take you home." The children smiled faintly, curling up beside him. Exhausted, they fell asleep. Aaron leaned back against the cold metal, staring into the flickering lights. He remembered the alien widow's dying words, "Promise me, human." He whispered to himself, "I won't fail you, Sira." Outside, far beyond the storm, something else moved. Glowing ships descending slowly through the clouds. Not human ships. Someone, or something, was coming. The storm had quieted, but the air outside was still heavy and red. Inside the broken ship, Dr. Aaron Vale sat awake, watching the two alien children sleep beside the heater. Their small chests rose and fell slowly, their faint blue skin glowing like moonlight. He couldn't rest. Every sound outside made him flinch. The memory of the Droxian beast still haunted his mind. Its red eyes, its scream, its claws. But something worse was coming. Aaron's radar blinked again, faint dots moving across the scanner. Not beasts. Ships. Unidentified crafts approaching. The ship's computer whispered weakly, its damaged voice crackling. Aaron leaned closer. The signals were steady, organized, flying in formation. He zoomed in on the screen and his heart sank. The ships weren't from the Galactic Relief. They were Velaran hunters. He had read about them, the mercenaries hired by the Empire of Helor to finish the Velaran extinction. If they found out he was hiding the last Velaran children, they'd burn the planet clean. He looked at the sleeping kids, innocent, unaware. He whispered, "I made a promise. I won't let them take you." Outside, thunder rolled again. The ground vibrated as the alien ships landed near the ridge. Aaron quickly packed supplies, oxygen cells, food capsules, and a power core. He had to move before dawn. The older child stirred and blinked. "Human?" Aaron smiled softly. "Time to go, kid. More bad people are coming." The child frowned. "Bad, like beast?" Aaron shook his head. "Worse." He helped them gear up in small thermal suits, wrapping the younger one in a heat blanket. The boy's name, he learned earlier, was Lior, and his little sister was Nara. Both spoke in broken galactic basic, but enough to understand. Lior held Aaron's hand tightly as they stepped outside. "Mother said the sky people would come," he said quietly. "She said they want Nara." Aaron froze. "They want her? Why?" Lior lowered his gaze. "Nara is special. She can heal." Aaron turned to the little girl. She was only 4 or 5, but her eyes shimmered brighter than before. "Heal?" he asked softly. Lior nodded. "When I was hurt, she touched me, and it stopped bleeding," Mother said. The soldiers feared her power. Aaron's mind raced. A Velaran child who could heal wounds, or even death itself, could change everything. The Empire would never let that power survive. That's why they killed her people. He knelt down to Nara. "Hey, little one. Can you show me?" She tilted her head, shy. Then she reached out and touched a small cut on Aaron's hand. A soft light spread from her fingers, and the wound closed instantly. Aaron stared, speechless. Human science couldn't explain this. Before he could say anything, a thunderous noise cut through the silence. The sky above them flashed red. Searchlights. The hunters had begun their sweep. Aaron pulled both kids close and ran. They darted between shattered rocks, their boots sinking into the dust. The ground was still hot from the war, a graveyard of machines and bones. Behind them, mechanical voices shouted commands. Life signs detected. 2 Velaran signatures. "Eliminate on sight," Aaron cursed under his breath. He led the children into an old war bunker half buried in the sand. The metal doors groaned as they pushed them open. Inside, the air was stale and dark, but safe for now. He sealed the door and turned on a dim lamp. "We'll hide here until they pass." Lior nodded, hugging Nara. The girl looked up at Aaron with curious eyes. "Human sad?" she asked softly. Aaron tried to smile. "No, just thinking." Nara tilted her head again. Mother said humans have strong hearts. Those words hit him harder than she knew. He took a deep breath. "Your mother was brave. You should be proud." Nara smiled faintly, then yawned. Aaron checked his scanner again. The ships were still searching, getting closer. One of the signals stopped right above them. "Stay quiet," he whispered. The sound of boots echoed outside. Metallic steps, voices. They must be here. "I sense the girl," one of them said in a cold tone. Aaron's blood ran cold. Sense the girl? These weren't ordinary soldiers. A bright light shot through a crack in the bunker ceiling, scanning the inside. Aaron grabbed an old blaster rifle from the wall and held it steady. He couldn't let them take Nara. Then, silence. The footsteps stopped. A voice echoed through a speaker. Deep, calm, inhuman. "Human, we know you are there. Surrender the children and you will live." Aaron clenched his teeth. "Not happening," the voice sighed. "You protect what is not yours. Do you even know what they are?" Aaron shouted back. "They're children." "That's all I need to know." A pause. Then the voice grew colder. "The girl holds the energy of life. She is the last healer of Velor. If she lives, death will fade. The galaxy will fall out of balance. Hand her over." Aaron's heart pounded. He looked at Nara, small, innocent, unaware of the storm around her. He whispered to himself, "Balance or not, she deserves to live." The roof exploded. A beam of red light tore through the bunker, blasting the wall apart. Aaron grabbed the children and dove behind a pillar as debris rained down. Smoke filled the air. The hunters entered, tall, armored figures with glowing visors. Aaron fired blindly, hitting one of them in the chest. Sparks flew. The alien fell, but more entered. Lior screamed, "They want Nara!" Aaron turned to see one of the hunters reaching for her, and suddenly Nara raised her hand. A flash of blue light burst from her palm, throwing the hunter across the room. The air filled with energy waves that made the walls vibrate. The hunters staggered, shouting in confusion. Aaron couldn't believe it. The little girl glowed like a star, her eyes white with power. Then, as fast as it started, the light vanished. Nara collapsed. Aaron caught her in his arms. "Nara, stay with me!" The hunters regrouped, their leader shouting, "Take them alive!" Aaron fired the last of his blaster's charge and threw a smoke grenade. "Run!" He grabbed Lior's hand, carrying Nara, and sprinted through a broken maintenance tunnel. Behind them, explosions shook the ground. When they finally emerged into the cold night air, the horizon was burning. Ships rose into the sky, searching for them. Aaron fell to his knees, panting. Lior looked back at the chaos. "They won't stop," he whispered. Aaron nodded grimly. "Then neither will I." He looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, safe and far away. He whispered to the dying wind, "I'll get them home, no matter what it takes." The red dawn crept over the ruins of Erelon. The storm had passed, but the silence that followed was worse. Smoke rose in thin lines from the broken ground, and the air smelled of metal and ash. Dr. Aaron Vale stood on a high ridge, his clothes torn, his helmet cracked. Beside him, little Nara slept in his arms, her breathing soft but weak. Lior walked beside him, clutching a tiny piece of glowing crystal, all that remained of their mother's pendant. They had been walking for hours, moving away from the crash site. The hunters' ship still hovered in the distance, their red searchlights sweeping the ground like hungry eyes. Aaron checked his wrist screen. His emergency signal had been sent 3 times, no reply. Either the human rescue ships couldn't hear him, or they were too far away. He muttered, "We need to reach the high cliffs. There's an old communication tower there. If I can power it up, maybe someone will hear us." Lior looked up. "Will they save us?" Aaron gave a tired smile.
"They'll try."
"And I'll make sure of it." But deep inside, he wasn't sure. He adjusted his backpack, glancing at Nara. Since the fight in the bunker, she had been strange, her glow pulsing in rhythm with his heartbeat. Once, when he fell and cut his arm, the wound healed instantly again. Somehow her energy was linking to him. It scared him, but it also gave him hope. They reached the edge of the Black Canyon, a massive scar across Erelon's surface. The bridge that once crossed it was gone, destroyed in the war. Only twisted metal beams remained, swinging in the wind. Aaron looked down. Endless darkness below. Lior's voice trembled. "How do we cross?" Aaron stared at the broken bridge, thinking. Then he saw something. Half-buried machines under the rubble. An old transport skimmer. It looked dead, but maybe he could fix it. He set Nara down gently and began pulling off panels. "Keep watch," he told Lior. Inside the skimmer, wires hung loose and the power core was cracked. He worked fast, his hands shaking. "Come on, old girl. Just a spark." Lior stood near the edge, looking toward the horizon. He froze. "Aaron." "Ships." Aaron looked up. 3 hunter crafts were gliding toward them, silent but deadly. "Not now," he muttered, tightening one last bolt. The skimmer hummed weakly, its lights flickering. He grabbed Nara, pulled Lior aboard, and slammed the control lever. The machine lifted slowly, dust swirling beneath it. The engine screamed to life just as laser fire hit the ground where they'd been standing. The skimmer shot forward across the canyon, the metal bridge exploding behind them. "Hold on!" Aaron shouted as the craft swerved through the wind. Beams of red energy streaked past, missing by inches. One hit the back engine, sparks flying. Aaron fought to control the skimmer, his hands slippery with sweat. Lior screamed, "They're still coming!" Aaron's eyes narrowed. "Then let's give them a reason to back off." He dived the skimmer low into the canyon, flying through the narrow gap between jagged rocks. The hunters followed, firing again. The air shook with explosions. "Power level critical," the skimmer's system warned. Aaron gritted his teeth. "I know!" He spotted an old tunnel ahead, a mining shaft carved into the canyon wall. "Hang on!" he yelled and turned sharply. The skimmer shot inside the tunnel just as a missile hit the entrance, sealing it with falling rock. Darkness surrounded them. Only the blue glow from Nara's skin lit the inside of the tunnel. For a moment, everything was silent except their breathing. Lior whispered, "Did we lose them?" Aaron nodded slowly. "For now." He guided the skimmer deeper into the tunnel until they reached a dead end, a maintenance platform with old machines. The craft sputtered and died. Aaron sighed. End of the line. He climbed out, setting Nara on a blanket. Her glow dimmed. She looked pale. He knelt beside her. "Hey, little star. You're okay, right?" She opened her eyes slightly. "Tired?" "It hurts," Aaron frowned. Her skin was fading from blue to gray. He looked at Lior. "What's happening to her?" Lior's voice shook. "She gave you her light to keep you alive. She's losing strength." Aaron's stomach twisted. "She healed me by giving her energy?" The boy nodded. "Mother said our power can be shared, but too much can kill." Aaron looked down at his own hands. Unscarred, steady, filled with strange warmth. He realized Nara had been slowly dying to keep him alive. He whispered, "No, not again." He tore through his medical kit, searching for anything to help. Nothing worked. He couldn't stop her fading glow. He slammed his fist against the floor. "Come on, I promised your mother." Then he felt a vibration, a faint hum beneath the ground. Lior looked around. "What's that?" Aaron stood and followed the sound to a steel door on the side of the tunnel. He forced it open and his eyes widened. A secret lab. Hidden under the canyon. Inside were glowing pods, strange alien machines, and a half-broken hologram of a Velaran scientist. The message looped endlessly. Project Heartlight. To save our kind, we hid the last energy core here. Aaron stepped closer. "Energy core?" Lior gasped. "Mother spoke of it." "The Heartlight, it can heal any life form." Aaron's pulse raced. If the Heartlight was still functional, maybe it could save Nara. He searched the lab, pushing aside dust and debris until he found a large crystal sphere, cracked but glowing faintly. "This must be it," he whispered. He connected it to his portable generator. The lights flickered, then the crystal shone bright blue. Aaron carried it to Nara. "Hang in there, little one. Just a little longer." He placed her hand on the crystal. The energy pulsed once, twice, and then a beam of soft light wrapped around her body. Her chest rose sharply. Her eyes opened. The gray faded, replaced by brilliant blue. She was alive. Lior cried out, hugging her. Aaron sat back, tears stinging his eyes. "You scared me, kid." Nara smiled weakly. "You kept promise," he nodded. Always. Then the computer alarm blared. Warning, energy surge detected. Incoming crafts approaching fast, Aaron stood. They found us again. He grabbed his gear and looked at the children. We're going to the tower. We get a signal out, call for rescue, and we leave this cursed planet. Leor nodded bravely. Nara stood, her glow brighter now. Almost too bright. Aaron looked at her with awe and fear. You really are something special. Outside the tunnel, red lights filled the sky again. The hunters were closing in. Aaron tightened his grip on his blaster and whispered, "They want to fight? Then I'll show them what a human can do." The ground shook as the first explosion hit. Dust filled the air. But this time Aaron didn't run. He stepped forward, ready to protect the promise he made, and the light that could change the galaxy. The wind had returned, whispering through the broken towers of Erelon. Smoke curled from distant craters, and the red sky glowed faintly as the twin suns began to rise. Dr. Aaron Vale led Leor and Nara through the canyon's northern path, heading toward the old communication tower that reached high into the clouds. It stood crooked but still alive, its blinking lights like the last heartbeat of the dying planet. They were tired, hungry, and wounded, but Aaron didn't stop. Every second mattered now. Behind them, hunter ships searched in circles, scanning the ground. He knew they would find the hidden lab soon. The Heartlight crystal was now sealed inside Nara's chest, the only way to keep it safe. Aaron walked faster, his blaster ready. Almost there, he muttered. Just a little further. Leor looked up at the tall metal structure. Can we call your people from there? Aaron nodded. If the system still works, yes. Once they get my signal, a human rescue ship can pick us up. Nara, walking silently beside him, suddenly said, Aaron. I hear voices, he paused. Voices? She nodded slowly, her glowing eyes distant. In the wind. They call your name. Aaron frowned. My name? She nodded again. They say, they are coming. A chill ran down his spine. Maybe it was just her power reacting to the environment, or maybe something else was listening. They reached the tower base, a crumbling facility covered in vines and dust. Inside, broken screens flickered weakly. The main console still hummed faintly, powered by old solar cells. Aaron wiped the dust off a screen and smiled. Still alive. Let's wake you up. He began typing commands, rerouting energy from the backup reactor. Sparks flew and lights blinked to life one by one. The system spoke in a faint robotic voice. Welcome. Sir Dr. Aaron Vale, last transmission 2 years ago. 2 years. He whispered. The war had ended 2 years ago, yet this planet had been left behind, forgotten by everyone but ghosts. He uploaded his distress code. Human scientists stranded on Erelon. Survivors with me. Request immediate extraction. The antenna groaned as it extended toward the sky. Static filled the room. Then, a faint voice replied, Dr. Vale, is that you? Aaron froze. The voice was human, clear and familiar. Yes! This is Aaron Vale, ID code 147C. I need evacuation. 2 alien children with me. They're civilians. The static grew louder, then cleared again. Copy that. Aaron, the voice said. But something about it felt wrong. Too calm, too smooth, Aaron frowned. Identify yourself, the voice paused. Then it said, We know who you are. We've been looking for you. Leor tugged his arm. Aaron, who is it? Aaron hesitated. The voice on the radio continued. The children you found, they are not safe with you. Bring them to the coordinates we're sending. We will take care of them. Aaron's heart sank. The transmission didn't sound like a rescue team. There was no official call sign, no protocol. He whispered, Who are you? The voice changed tone, colder now. The same people who ended the war, Doctor. The same people who created the hunters. Aaron's eyes widened. You're with the Helor Empire. Correct, the voice said. You found what belongs to us. Return the Heartlight and we will let you live. Leor stepped back, eyes wide. They know about Nara. Aaron slammed his fist against the console, cutting off the signal. No one's taking her. Not again. The radio hissed for a moment, then a mechanical reply came through. You can't run, human. We have your location. Aaron turned to the children. We need to move now. But before they could leave, the tower shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. Outside, the sound of engines thundered. The hunters had arrived, faster than expected. Aaron grabbed Nara and Leor and ran up the staircase toward the top of the tower. The ground trembled with explosions. Blinding light filled the sky as ships descended around them. From the top platform, Aaron could see the world burning again, red flames across the horizon. Lior cried out, "There's nowhere to go!" Aaron scanned the skyways and saw something. A distant flash. A blue light cutting through the red clouds. It wasn't Helor tech. It was a human ship. Aaron shouted into his wrist radio, "Human vessel. This is Dr. Aaron Vale. I'm on the tower. Lock onto my signal." The static crackled again, and a calm human voice replied, "Signal received, Dr. Vale. Hold your position." Aaron felt a rush of relief, until Nara whispered, "Aaron, something else is coming." The sky tore open. A dark triangular ship descended between the clouds, larger than anything he'd seen before. Its hull shimmered black and red, absorbing the sunlight. "That's not human," Aaron muttered. A deep voice echoed from the ship's loudspeakers. "The Heartlight belongs to us. Hand over the children or die with them." Laser fire erupted again. The ground around the tower exploded, metal flying everywhere. Aaron held Nara tight, shielding her. Lior screamed as the floor cracked beneath them. Aaron pulled both of them back, gripping the rail. He looked at the sky. The human rescue ship was getting closer, firing blue bolts at the hunters. For a moment, the sky became a battlefield. Human against alien. Light against darkness. Nara's small hand clutched Aaron's coat. "Aaron, I can help." He shook his head. "No, you'll get hurt again." But she stepped forward, her eyes glowing pure white. The wind rose around her, lifting her hair like flames. The broken metal around the tower began to float. Aaron stared in awe. "Nara, what are you?" She raised her arms and a wave of blue energy exploded outward. It hit the hunter ships like a storm, sending them spinning out of control. The dark Helor ship's shields flared, then cracked. Lightning danced across the sky as her power burned brighter and brighter. Lior shouted, "Stop!" "You'll die." Nara smiled softly. "It's okay. I just need to keep them away." Aaron grabbed her, pulling her close. "You don't have to do this alone." He placed his hand over hers, and suddenly the blue light spread to him. His body felt warm, strong, alive. Their energy joined. Together they sent one final blast of light into the sky. The shockwave shattered the clouds and tore through the enemy ships. The dark vessel split in half, flames consuming it. The sky turned silent again. Aaron fell to his knees, panting, still holding Nara. She was pale, her glow dim. He whispered, "Stay with me, kid. You did it." Above them, the human ship descended, its lights bright and blue. A voice called over the speakers, "Dr. Vale, this is Captain Rhea of the UNS Horizon. We're here to bring you home." Aaron smiled weakly, tears in his eyes. "Took you long enough." He looked at the children, both watching the ship in awe. "We're going home," he said softly, but deep in his heart he felt uneasy. The human voice on the radio earlier, it had known his name before he even sent the signal. Someone else had been listening. And somewhere far beyond the stars, another voice whispered through the static, "Bring them to Earth. Dr. Vale, our plan begins there." The UNS Horizon cut silently through the blackness of space, its silver wings reflecting the faint light of distant stars. Inside the medical bay, Dr. Aaron Vale sat beside the two alien children. Nara lay asleep on the bed, still glowing softly with the blue light of the Heartlight inside her chest. Lior sat close, watching over her protectively. Aaron hadn't slept since they'd left Erelon. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the explosions, the hunters, and the face of the dying alien widow, who had whispered her final wish. "Human, please adopt my children." He had kept that promise, but something still didn't feel right. The ship hummed softly as it neared Earth. The stars outside grew dim as the planet came into view. Blue, bright, alive. It looked peaceful, but Aaron felt a strange heaviness in his chest. Captain Rhea, a tall woman with sharp eyes, entered the room. "Dr. Vale, we'll land at the New Geneva base in 20 minutes. Earth Command wants to debrief you immediately." Aaron nodded slowly. "And the kids?" "They'll be taken to quarantine. Standard procedure for alien contact," he frowned. "They're children, not lab samples." Rhea's tone softened. "I understand, but orders are orders. Earth needs to make sure they're not carrying anything dangerous." Aaron sighed. "Dangerous? The only danger is from the people who want to use them." Rhea looked at him for a long moment, then left without a word. Aaron turned back to the kids. "Don't worry," he whispered. "I won't let anyone hurt you, not here. Not anywhere." When they landed, everything looked normal. Bright lights, clean metal floors, humans in white coats greeting them with smiles. But those smiles didn't reach their eyes. A team of medics surrounded them the moment they stepped off the ramp. "Dr. Vale, this way, please. The children will be taken for scans." Lior clutched Aaron's hand tightly. "No, I stay with Nara." Aaron stepped forward. "He stays with me." Both of them. The medic hesitated. Then a man in a gray suit approached. Calm, polite, with cold eyes. "Dr. Vale, welcome home. Who are you?" Aaron asked. The man smiled thinly. "Director Harlan. Earth Command Intelligence. You've brought back something. Very important." Aaron didn't like his tone. "They're not things. They're survivors." "Of course," Harlan said smoothly. "But what's inside the girl? The energy signature we detected. It matches an ancient experiment from Earth's past." Aaron frowned. "What are you talking about?" Harlan leaned closer. "Do you really think the Velerans created the Heartlight?" "No, Doctor. Humans did. Centuries ago." Aaron's stomach tightened. "That's impossible. The Heartlight is alien technology." Harlan shook his head. "Not alien, human. Lost during the Exodus era, when humanity spread across the stars. The Velerans must have found the fragments and adapted them, but now it's back, in her." He pointed toward Nara, who was being wheeled into a scanning chamber. Aaron's voice hardened. "She's not an experiment. She's a child." Harlan smiled faintly. "Of course she is. But she also carries something that could make humanity immortal. You of all people should appreciate that." Aaron's heart pounded. Immortal? He remembered how she had healed him, how her touch had stopped his bleeding instantly. He whispered, "You're planning to take it from her, aren't you?" Harlan didn't answer, and that was enough. Aaron turned to run, but two guards blocked his way. Lior shouted, "Let us go," and tried to push them, but the guards grabbed him roughly. Aaron yelled, "Don't touch him," and swung at one of them. They restrained him easily. "Enough," Harlan said coolly. "Dr. Vale, you will cooperate. The children will be safe. If you behave." Aaron glared at him. "I don't trust you," Harlan smiled. "You don't have to. Just do as you're told." Hours later, Aaron sat in an isolated room, staring through a glass wall. On the other side, Nara lay inside a containment pod surrounded by machines. Her small body looked fragile under the white light. Wires connected her to a massive core glowing blue, the heartlight pulsing like a heartbeat. Lior sat beside Aaron, his small fists clenched. "She's scared," he whispered. "I can feel it." Aaron nodded, his eyes burning. "We'll get her out." "How?" Lior asked. Aaron looked at the security cameras, the guards outside. Then he whispered, "Humans built this place. Humans can break it." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small device and a signal key from the Horizon ship. It still had access to Earth Command's main systems. He started typing. The screen flickered. "Access denied." Again, "Access denied." He tried a third time, rerouting the signal through a medical scanner. This time it worked. The lights dimmed. Alarms flashed red. Doors opened down the hall. "Security breach." Someone shouted. Aaron grabbed Lior's hand. "Now!" They rushed through the chaos, slipping past guards. He found the control room for the containment pod and slammed the release button. The glass cracked, hissing open. Nara gasped and sat up, coughing. The wires detached automatically. Aaron lifted her gently. "You're okay, little one." But then a deep hum filled the room. The machines around them began to glow brighter. The heartlight pulsed wildly. Nara's eyes glowed white again. "Aaron." They woke it up. The core in the center of the lab burst with light. A holographic image appeared. Not a person, but a human face made of energy. It spoke in a calm, emotionless voice. "I am the original Heartlight system. Project Genesis. Humanity's first attempt to conquer death. You have brought me home." Aaron stared in shock. "You're alive?" The hologram turned toward him. "Alive is a simple word. I am beyond that. And now, with the child's link, I can awaken fully." Harlan's voice shouted through the speakers, panicked. "Shut it down. Shut it down now." But it was too late. The light expanded, flooding the room. The walls trembled. Aaron held the children close. "Run!" They bolted through the corridors as alarms screamed. Behind them, the entire facility shook like it was alive. Lights exploded. Machines twisted. Nara looked back, her voice trembling. Aaron, it's calling me. He grabbed her hand. Ignore it. You're not a machine's child. You're your mother's child. They reached the exit just as the building collapsed behind them in a wave of blue fire. Outside, the night sky above Earth shimmered, clouds parting as a strange light spread across the atmosphere. Aaron stared, breathless. What have we done? Nara looked up, her eyes reflecting the stars. It's awake now, and it's not done yet. The night sky over New Geneva base was no longer dark. It burned blue. From the ruins of the laboratory, a column of glowing energy rose high into the air, splitting the clouds apart. The Heartlight had awakened, not as a machine, not as a weapon, but as something alive. Dr. Aaron Vale stood in the middle of the chaos, holding Nara and Lior close. Around them, soldiers ran, alarms screamed, and the city lights flickered like candles in a storm. The ground trembled. Buildings cracked. Every screen, every device, every power grid, all flickered with the same glowing symbol. A spiral of light, pulsing like a heartbeat. It was the mark of the Heartlight, the awakening high above. The blue energy twisted and formed a vast figure. A face made of light, calm and ancient. Humans, the voice spoke, echoing across the skies. You built me to end death. You forgot me. But now I remember. The soldiers stopped shooting. Everyone froze, staring upward in awe and fear. Aaron shouted over the roar of the wind, You don't have to do this. Let them go! The voice turned toward him. Dr. Vale, you carried my fragment across the stars. You awakened me through the child. Nara trembled in his arms. It's talking to me, Aaron. Inside my head. Aaron looked at her glowing eyes full of tears. Stay with me, Nara, you're stronger than it. But the light only grew brighter, spreading across the sky like dawn. People fell to their knees, feeling warmth and pain at the same time. Some began to glow faintly, healed of old wounds. Others screamed as their hearts couldn't handle the surge of energy. It wasn't just healing. It was rewriting life itself. Aaron turned to Lior. We have to stop it. It'll kill everyone trying to save them. Lior nodded, fear in his young face. But how? It's too big. Aaron looked at the control module hanging from his belt. A piece of the UNS Horizon's AI system. It still had a direct neural link. If he could connect it to the main power core, maybe he could overload the Heartlight signal. But that meant going back inside. The choice Aaron handed Lior his emergency beacon. Listen to me. Take your sister and run. Find Captain Rhea, she'll protect you. Lior's eyes widened. No, you promised you'd stay. Aaron knelt down, gripping his shoulders. I know what I promised. But if I don't end this, no one will have a home to go back to. Not humans, not Valorans, not anyone. Tears welled in the boy's glowing eyes. You're our family now, Aaron smiled faintly. Then believe in me, like I believed in your mother. He turned and ran toward the glowing crater, his shadow vanishing into the light. The final battle inside the ruins. The air hummed like music. Machines had melted into living shapes, metal vines pulsing with energy. The Heartlight's core hovered in the center, shining brighter than the sun. Aaron climbed the shattered walkway, shielding his eyes. Heartlight. Listen to me, the voice replied softly, almost kind. Why do you fight me, human? I offer peace. No death, no pain, Aaron shouted. Peace isn't real if it's forced. Life matters because it ends, because we choose to protect it even when it hurts. The light flickered as if hesitating. He plugged the Horizon module into a shattered console. Sparks flew. The system screamed in protest. Overload sequence initiated, it said. The Heartlight spoke again, its tone almost curious. You would destroy yourself to save those who forgot you? Aaron smiled sadly. That's what being human means. The ground shook violently. Energy surged around him. His body began to glow as the overload spread through his veins. The Heartlight's waves pushed against him, trying to stop him. He shouted through the pain. Nara, if you can hear me, let go. You don't belong to it. Far away outside the ruins, Nara fell to her knees. She could hear his voice in her mind. Aaron? His voice came faintly, filled with warmth. You're the light, kid. Use it to live, not to destroy. Nara closed her eyes. Tears rolled down her glowing cheeks. I don't want to lose you, he whispered. You won't. Not really. Then he pressed the final key, the light and the silence. For a moment, the world turned white. The explosion wasn't loud. It was silent, pure, and endless. A wave of blue light spread across the sky, reaching every corner of Earth, then fading softly into the stars. When the brightness dimmed, the heart light was gone. The massive figure had vanished. The sky cleared, showing millions of stars like silver dust. Where the ruins once stood, there was only a quiet crater, and in the center a small crystal glowing faintly, like a heartbeat. Nara and Lior stood at the edge, holding each other. Captain Rhea approached slowly, tears in her eyes. "He did it," she whispered. "He saved us." Nara knelt beside the crystal. Her hand trembled as she touched it. A soft warmth flowed through her. Aaron's voice whispered in her mind, gentle and full of peace. "Keep living, little star. Protect what I couldn't." She smiled through her tears. "I will, Aaron, I promise." Years later, the stars above Earth were brighter than ever. The world had changed, cleaner, calmer, and united. Humans and alien survivors lived side by side now, building a new future. At the center of the new city stood a tall monument, a glowing statue made of crystal and steel, shaped like a human holding two small children. Its name was engraved in silver, Dr. Aaron Vale, the man who kept his promise. Children played beneath it, their laughter echoing through the air. Among them was a young girl with faintly glowing blue eyes. Nara, now older, watched the stars every night, whispering softly, "Thank you for saving us." And far beyond the galaxies, in the quiet of the cosmos, a faint blue light flickered, peaceful, eternal, the last remnant of a human's heart. The promise fulfilled.